Let's talk about the power shortages in Arua. If you don't know, Arua is not part of the national grid at Bujagali Falls. What they did, they got a different plant, a different company to ration power here. And in 2003, the contract was awarded to that company, and till today they've been supplied. However, around 2006, the power was cut off. And today we are going to be asking the local people how they feel. Have there been any businesses that have been closed? What is the impact, when it comes to the business in Arua? I'll start with asking you, so do you own a business that has been affected?
So much. I own a business. I charge phones,
right.
I sell phone items, and so on. So when I started, it was well. As you said, the contract was awarded in 2003. Arua was one of the best district in terms of power. We used to have 18 hours consecutive without any problem.
Wow.
We enjoyed actually ourselves. So we find that business boomed. People like us, we got little, we invested in business that involves electricity. But when it reached a moment, that is 2006-07, there was a problem. I think it was due to breakdown of our engines.
Yes.
So from that time up to now, we are suffering seriously.
From 2007
up to now, it is on and off. Business is collapsing. As I talk, my business has collapsed. I've closed it.
Right.
The fact is, Arua was brought a junk engine, something that has been overused, and it was just repainted. That's why this machine did not run for a very long time. It ran for a short time and began to develop major problems. And every time it breaks down, the story you hear is the spare has to be got from Belgium, from German. And so the story continues. So the whole thing is the machine that was brought was a junk.
Right.
Some old thing which could not hold the power which is supposed to be supplied for the people of Arua. And by the way, Arua is a district that is connected to around three borders. We have Sudan, we have Congo, that are connected to Arua, and every day you find many businessmen and women coming to Arua.
In addition to what you have said, I happened to get a chance. One time we had a conference in the State House in Entebbe. We went as a Department of Production, we presented power issue in Arua as our major concern.
Yes.
We were only disappointed by our own son, that's the Minister for Energy, Dujanga Simon, who clearly said to us in the State House, in front of the President, that Arua has no potential.
Potential they are talking about,
we can't use power.
That the number of households
using power
that can be connected to use power are not enough. That is one. Two, we don't have factories that can consume the amount of power which is supposed to be supplied here.
But do you have any factories that
how can you have factory when
without power? That's the question.
The only thing, you bring the power and then you'll see factories. I think I've seen Arua, the way Arua is developing.
Yes.
I am here for almost 20 years. If you see Arua of those days and these days, you will not believe. Arua is growing, not because of government, not because of it is individual. People are building. I personally build my house. If you see the house, you don't believe.
Yeah, you have a house, eh?
Of course.
Okay.
Now, in addition to that, we have got factories.
Yeah, I'm single, don't worry. We shall talk about that later.
Maybe.
The power situation here is generally not very good. The town and this district is serviced by a private provider which is using generators. It originated from the defunct Uganda Electricity Board, UEB. In the case of this town and this region, we have what is called one record, the West Nile Rural Electrification Company, that is providing power here. They were supposed to provide this thermal power for a certain period of time to wait for the hydropower production from Nagak, which is under construction. The company construction has pledged to us, has promised that the commissioning finally will be done next month, August. Yesterday we were in a meeting with the Wanreko, other stakeholders, together with the Electricity Regulatory Authority, UERA, and we inquired about the capacity of Wenereko to provide power adequately. They did confess that indeed, as many of us and many of the people who use the services here have judged, that Wenereko is operating below average. As you move around the town, you find very many small generators are being used for operating businesses, for small-scale production. As you can even hear in the background as of now, there's a generator running in this facility, in this hotel. And this has its challenge, as we raised yesterday in one of our meetings with the regulatory authority, is environmentally unsuitable. In this place, we have an investor who has constructed a fruit processing plant. But because there is no reliable and adequate power, it cannot start operating. So once the region is connected, it will open a lot of opportunities to producers and thereby creating employment for the youth and for many of the people living here.
Mzee,
Yes,
for lack of a better word, I don't know if you had a lot of power when you were growing up.
I think I completed my O-level in Ombachi, and at that time we had 24 hours power. That was from, I joined in 72 and finished in 75.
Right.
Now, when it came to power itself for Arua, actually, services in the hospital has always been a problem because of power. You know, we need fridges to run, keep blood, keep what, cook what, all these things have not been there. So, good enough when they brought Wenereko, said, okay, I think things are okay. For about 3 years, Wenereko did 18-hour service. It could be put on at 6 and it will go off by midnight, which went very nicely and we enjoyed it. Now when this junk thing brought its problem, that is the issue which has now brought a lot of problem. Nobody understands where the problem is. Nobody explains why the problem is like that. You talk of national grid, the issue is we don't have potential, as you said. But the conclusion is that people think the economy in West Nile does not sustain national grid,
Right.
which is really wrong.
It's wrong.
Now Arua's problem is on the power. Should the power be stable in Arua,
They will see.
Arua will be next to Kampala.
Right.
That is it. Very true.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are
It's so
burning.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm burning, yeah.
What business do you do?
Oyo man jeli arile ma anziki mbari ya computer training ya. Aya ati abini te daleku balu amane ati felu afa sa su sa nangonde le ata zikisi ba liga flale. So dalerisi ata ma business awini tukwe. Ba muketa vini business ya kungoni. Sasa ata malu business ilete. Ma business ile sasa ninte.
Another issue with Wenereko is actually Wenereko, it's very difficult whether they are reading the meters.
I will summarize.
Power is given for about 4 hours, and in a week you might get it 3 or 4 times. In a month you'll get a very big bill.
Very true.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When the bill comes, obviously you get power, say 3 days a week
Yes.
for 4 hours.
4 hours.
3
Yeah.
days a week for 4 hours.
For
Yeah,
4
4
hours.
hours only.
How much does the bill read when at the end of the
Oh
month
my
when they
god,
send
oh
it?
my god, Ablong.
Like at first, when the power had been there,
When the power was being supplied
my bill used to come 150
a month
a month.
for your business.
And then there's time we never had the power for 2 weeks. My bill came 120.
Eh.
So
But
tell
if it
me,
had come all the time, you'd have paid 1 million.
1 million.
Those people have very few meters. They oscillate the meters. I'm a defaulter, my meter will be taken to yours.
Eh.
Oh,
you want
so your problems will be transferred to Brian.
No,
No. They don't
They'll
have
take
enough
my meter away.
meters.
So that another time somebody has defaulted somewhere,
They'll
I've
bring-
already paid, they'll bring another meter.
So they actually don't have any new meters.
No new
Yeah,
meter.
they don't have
even
a
Then
new
the second
connections.
issue to that is the charge of poles. I'm somebody who moves all over Uganda. the charge of poles in Arua is quite different from charges of poles in other
Elsewhere.
other
How much
places.
is it to get a pole close to your house?
It's about 1.8.
1.8 million.
Onreko has just come to exploit people. It is true. They have just come to take the little money we have. Because if you take the generators, the solars, these things are all sold by the Indians. No Lubara can afford to deal in those things. And where are these Indians coming from? These are people who come in the country in the names of investors.
Yes.
I think they're just bringing those things over there so that we use that small money we have to buy the solars to boost their business. In all, me, I'm saying Onreko should leave, they should leave and go. Maybe a different company comes and take over.
Well, at the end of the tunnel, there's always some light, and I hope by the end of this discussion, you people of Arua, especially Arua people, there's some light. The government has told us by August, the dam will be open. Onreko has failed to give us an interview. Just so you know, Onreko is West Nile Rural Electrification Company. We went there, and the managers of this company have refused to talk to us. But you at home, what do you think? Is it politics? Who needs to pay for this? Is it the hiring of a shoddy company that is responsible for this junk equipment? What do you have?